So this morning I will be making a discard sourdough loaf, and here is my discard. It's been in the fridge for maybe about a month or two. I just need to stir it up, and this is the recipe I will be using. And let's get started. Okay, so here's the discard. Might be a little hard for me to do since I don't have a stand, so my apologies. And we'll just go ahead and mix it up. This is what it looks like. It has a lot of hooch on top. And I'll just mix it up. And we'll be using 232 grams. Okay, now that it's all mixed up, this is what it looks like. And I have my scale. You have to zero it out. I like to use this container and then zero it out again. And then I will be pouring 232 grams. Okay, now we'll do the 232 grams. Doesn't have to be exact, but close to it. Okay, that's 232. And we'll pour that into the stand mixer with the dough hook. Alright, so now I'm going to pour the discard into my stand mixer. And it's okay if there's some on the bottom. We're going to pour water in here and get all that discard out of this. Okay, put it back on the scale. And then we will zero it out. I have a little bit of discard on my hand, so ignore that. So now we will be pouring in 675 grams of water. And room temp water is good. Okay, so it's 0, so 675. Okay, so that's 358. Let's get a little bit more. And this water I'm pouring in is not hot. It's just room temp now. I had boiled water earlier this morning for more coffee. And now it's cooled down. Okay, that is 674. 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120, 121, 122, $6.75. Just get your spatula or whatever you might be using, kind of just stir it around so you can try to get all that really nice discard out of there. Can't waste any. Good stuff. Okay. I will get this as clean as possible and pour it in my mixer bowl with the discard. Okay, so I left a little bit of water in there just because I'm going to add the extra virgin olive oil, and that way it doesn't get super stuck in there and it'll pour out a little bit easier. And we're gonna do 15 grams of extra virgin olive oil, and this is just the one that I use. We just get this on Amazon. And again, it's going to be 15 grams. Make sure you zero out your scale. And 15 grams. And this recipe I copied, well, it's very similar to the 10-minute sourdough made easy. They're on YouTube. They have awesome videos. Very, very easy recipes to follow. So there is 15 grams, and there's olive oil. You can see it. And then again, we'll kind of get that mixed in. Try to get all of that good discard and oil and water that's been in there. Okay, so got that mixed in pretty good for the most part. And we'll just pour it in the stand mixer bowl. Try to get all that good stuff out of there. And I just like using this little Tupperware just because every time I use the metal bowl on my scale, it gives me an error. I don't know if it's just too heavy or whatever it might be. So whatever works best for you. You could just do it straight in the bowl if you'd like, if you have a better scale than I do. So just get all that in there. And if the music's too loud in the background, I'm sorry. I have Flavor Trip playing in the background. They have good mixes. Okay. And this is what it looks like. And I'm just going to use my Danish, I think that's what it's called, dough hook or dough whisk. Just whisk it around just to kind of break up the discard in there with the water, mix it in a little bit before we put in the flour. Excuse me. And this I just got on Amazon. Okay, I'm gonna get that mixed in. I don't want to make too much noise, so I'll mix it in and I'll be back. Okay, so this is what it looks like. And this, I don't think this part is super necessary, so you don't have to if you don't want. You could just throw in your flour in there and then mix it up, but this is just what I like to do, so whatever works best for you. And I will get this cleaned up, also that one, because I'll be using it for the flour and I don't want it to stick since there was water and oil. I want it to come out a little bit easier, so we'll get that all washed. Okay, so washed and dried really, really good since we are going to put in the flour, like I said. So set that aside, bring back your scale. Zero it out, make sure it's in grams. Keep forgetting to say and we're going to do 1,020 grams of bread flour, and I use the organic unbleached King Arthur, I believe. I'll probably need more, so I will go grab the bag. I just keep this one in the fridge. Okay, so 1,020 might not fit in here, so I might just do 510 and then another 510. Okay, so that's 478 grams, and I'm gonna go get, okay, so 478. The 510, like I said. It's 500. 504. 508. 510. Oops, 511. And that's fine. So there's 511, and then we'll do another 509. Oh, there goes 510. Okay, so we'll do another 510. And we'll just go ahead and pour this into the stand mixer bowl. Make sure it's zeroed out. There might be a little bit left, but we'll scrape it out in a little bit. So zero it out, and then just do another 510. Whoops. 514. Take out a little bit. 510. And this is the flour that I use. And this I just get on Amazon as well. Okay, we will pour this in to the stand mixer bowl, and then I will show you the next step. Okay, so I poured it into the stand mixer bowl. That is pretty full, but it's okay. Once we mix it, it'll go down a little bit. So now I'm going to do 112 grams of, you can either do rye or wheat flour or any other flour that you like to use. I'm going to do a mixture of rye and another flour. I can't remember the one that my brother-in-law gave me, but you can just do full rye again, or whatever other flour you'd like to use, and it'll be a total of 112 grams. Okay, so here's this. So like I said, I'm trying to get 112 grams. Trying to do this with one hand, it's not super easy. And again, it's okay if it's a tiny bit more or less. It doesn't have to be super exact. So here's 112 grams. And don't pour that into your stand mixer yet. We are going to add the salt in there and kind of mix it up a little bit. That way the salt distributes a little bit better. So like I said, we'll just do 112 grams, or excuse me, not 112, scratch that. We're gonna do 26 grams of salt. Yeah, 27, 26, 27. Doesn't know what it wants to do. Okay. And then you can mix this up with a fork, a spoon. Like I said, just trying to incorporate it a little bit before we drop it in here. And now we'll just pour it in there. Oops. And then we'll get the dough hook on and put on there and let that do the work. Okay, so you're done with your scale and you can clean up a little bit. So we're gonna get this over to the stand mixer. Get your dough hook. And then we're just gonna mix that a little bit until there is almost no dry pieces left. So I'm gonna get this mixed maybe for about 5 minutes or so. I will time it and I'll let you know. I like to stop it and kind of scrape the sides to get that dry dough off the sides, but I will come back and show you. Okay, so I started at 10:45. And we'll see when it is mostly incorporated or mixed. Okay, so it's only been about a minute. So I'm gonna stop it here. Whoops, wrong way. Stop it here and scrape down the sides a little bit. And the hook as well. So do that. And now we'll turn it back on. Okay, so it has only been 3 minutes, 10:48. This is what it's looking like. And that looks almost good. You see how there's little dry bits right there, but that's okay. Not a big deal. And we'll just take this off and we will get our container ready and we will just put the dough in there and let it rest. No stretch and folds. And we just kind of let it rest, and after that it should rise a tiny bit, and then I'm just going to keep it in the fridge until about Wednesday or Thursday until I'm ready to bake, and then hopefully I remember and I will video that as well. Okay, this step isn't super necessary. You can just stick it in a container, and this is just the container I'm going to use. This is the one I always use, and I marked it myself on here. If you have one that's already measured out, that would be great. So this this is the next step that I like to go through. So I wash my hands, and you can get a bench scraper. I just use this little plastic one. And just scrape off any of the dough that's on the hook. And then you will need a little bit of water for this, so you can just get a cup. It's just to wet your fingers a tiny bit and try to just wet a little bit on that flour that might be a little dry. So we'll get this out on the mat, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so I just got a tiny bit of water, and we'll just put this on the mat. And that might be a little sticky. That's okay. Trust the process. Just try to scrape all that out. That's the good stuff. Scrape this out, and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so I got most of the bits out of there, and you see the dough is, ooh, that looks weird. So the dough is a little sticky, as you can see. It's okay. And you can do this just with your bench scraper if you don't want dough on your hands. So kind of just spread it out a tiny bit this way. Okay, so this is what the dough is looking like. See, it's a little sticky. So you can wet your hands a tiny bit, kind of just spread it out. Okay, and then you're just gonna kind of fold it in. See if you see any dry spots. Kind of like this right here. So I'll just get a little bit of water, kind of just wet it a little bit. Just go on the other side. Right here as well. A little bit of water. Okay. Just kind of trying to create a little ball, I guess. Even though I'll probably just spread it out when I put it in this container. Okay. And now, let's see if I can do this. I'm not sure how well it'll look. Let me try something else. Okay, this looks a little better. All right, so wet both of your hands a little bit, just so you can handle it and it's not super duper sticky. This. I didn't put any oil or anything in my container. Just gonna kind of try to put this part on the bottom, and then what's on the bottom now is actually going to be on the top. I'm just gonna try to make it into a little ball so it's a little bit easier for me to get it in. A little sticky. There's still a little bit of dry bits in here. And again, you can just get a little bit of water, kind of just wet it a little bit. And I just like to spread mine out. And that way I can tell how much it's growing. So yeah, I just like to spread it out to the edges. And if you want to mark it, you can mark it, and then that way you can see when it's doubled or even tripled, because this dough gets huge. And this is going to be for either 2 pretty big loaves, or you can do 4 smaller ones, or whatever weight you like. So this is about how much? It's a little hard to tell, but maybe about 1,200 grams or so. And that's it. Just leave it on the counter, put it somewhere warm, and we'll see tonight. Right now it's 10:57, and we'll see how big it grows.